Hello, boys and girls, my name is Hatsusi and welcome back to Factorio. Probably this will be the last episode of this series where we tackled the inner planets. So the next city will be the outer planets, or everything else there is in this solar system. And today we clean up some things that we have here, and I want to start with the research setup because last time we researched the Biolab. So we will craft them, and as an ingredient we need the normal labs to do that, and we will also do that the supplying then with robots. So that means we are replacing here everything with the red chests. We will remove the inserters, remove the belts. Once that train is gone, remove the labs, and then set up the things that we need to build them up in our factory where we build basically everything. Because these new labs require biter eggs to be produced, we will build the factory up here. We do it there. This is the chest where we have the biter eggs stashed. That's where we will have that. Then here we will have a request chest for everything else. We will add the labs in here, and we can see we get everything by request, so that's good. And then output here, I think this much. I think that will be 50 will be sufficient because they are more productive and they are faster, and previously we had 75 labs, and if it's not enough we always can craft more with this setup. But I think let's craft the first one here, and then we can actually design a layout that suits our needs. By now we have a few biolabs, so we can have a closer look at them. We want to have a requester chest. Like so. And then on here, of course, we will have all our science packs. We will add them in 200s, save for the agriculture one, where we want to have low number, because that way maybe 50, and then also this one will do. And question then is, how do we lay this out? If we have it this way, we can have a setup like so. And then we also need something like this, where we have this filter set. Then we need power. Thinking like so. That covers the whole area. We will have a beacon in every corner. And productivity module 4 like so. And with this, actually let's make a blueprint of this because I like this very much. Biolab, Biolab setup. And we will add logistics robot here as well, so we know this is like so. For now, I keep this in my inventory. Because eventually I will add it to the book. But I think first we need a few more labs before we can actually think about setting up the proper lab to continue our research. With 50 labs at hand, let's see what we can set up here. There is my blueprint, and let's start here. So maybe let's have it in this pattern. Where we basically bring it about that way until we run out of labs. Here another one. And we have already run out of beacons. That's it. Let's add this. That's 4 more. And then we need to connect this with power. And we need more Roboport coverage. We have power everywhere, but now we are missing the beacons, the modules, and of course before this can go on, we also need some robots. 150, I think for the start they will be busy, but then I expect it will taper out, and we can keep an eye on that if we need more down there. But let me finish the lab setup, and then we can see what else we want to change. With all this setup, I see that we are still missing 8 modules here, and looking at the logistics, I think we need a few more logistic robots in order to supply everything as requested. But I think we can actually get rid of this part down here. Don't need any belts anymore. So I will finish that, and then we will turn our attention on something that we have researched recently, and that basically can improve our operations. All set down here, everything is in place. We have now 300 logistic robots flying around, and eventually I would assume that will be enough once we have filled up here as well. However, there is this metal that we need to take care of. We have the setup ready to exert any spoilage from the labs should any agricultural science pack spoil, but eventually these chests will get full. So what we will do is we will basically just burn it. We'll have a heating tower here. We have a request chest there where we request the spoilage. Insert it, and I don't care about the heat that is generated. It's just dissipating into the environment. We don't need to produce power from it, and that should get rid of the spoilage that we accumulate here, and thereby ensure smooth operation. But there was another thing that we did research recently, and it's this. Out of ice we can produce calcite, and with that we basically if we harvest calcite from ice in orbit, we no longer need to ship it from Vulcanus. So let's have a look at one of our, currently we're not producing anything here, so looking at the calcite consumption, let's search for it. We have about peaks of 60 per minute, so we should produce one calcite per second in order to sustain our needs. And if we look at this, it takes 5 seconds to craft 2 calcite. So we need at least 3 crushers set up that way that are then also continuously fed by the oxidized asteroid chunks. So what I think we will do is we will have a copy of this space platform, but instead of having all this fancy production here in the middle, we will do something different. So let's just copy this. And say, let's add a new one. This is Nauvis calcite harvester. And we will add a nice icon to it. And as it is for calcite, let's also add that here. Once we have that, we can copy in the blueprint, delete everything that we don't need, and add the things that we actually want to have. We have the space platform, so let's now copy this in. And basically, well, we won't need this. Let's also remove everything there. There. Let's also remove those. All the inner things here. Because we will do things a bit differently. Now then, we have this outer belt going around, collecting all the asteroid chunks. And here we have the output. Let's add that one up to 500, because this is the material that we are actually looking for. And then we need these. We want to convert as much as possible to the 2 oxide asteroid chunks. So the 2 things that we are not processing, we're converting, and the last thing that we are processing, we deal that way. So input, 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 output, output, output. So for this, that's all fine. But here, output will only be the chunks and these ones. And here we will have something like this, because we don't care about the ice cubes. And here, that's where the most important part comes in. That's that. So that was the wrong button. Let's go back. So let's copy this setup and duplicate it, and then we shall have some more here on either side, because we want to make sure that we're processing the last bit of the oxalide pieces. And let's copy this to here. We want to have that on each side, and we also then add this twice on each side. There. And let's bring this over that way. And let's try to make the output here even. Well balanced. What's that? That should work fine. Here we go in the other direction. And then we need inserters. Now that should be all the gaps filled in, but we will see how this works out, especially with the ratio of conversion versus producing, and if we can actually produce enough of the calcite that we need. I think we're producing way more power than we actually need here, because the only thing that consumes power are the collectors and the crushers, so no real processing here. I think it will take a while until this platform is actually built and finished and operational. Finally, the platform is complete, and as you can see here, we are already producing calcite, and it's backing up because I limited the input to 2000, so we are not overwhelming the capacity that we have here. However, do we produce enough? We are at around 40, and we actually need 60, and we'll probably need way more if we would then basically expand the stuff that we use for production. So if we add more outposts that use actually calcite for the smelting. But let's remove calcite from this setup, and that should mean we're requesting it from here. Currently we are not really using up anything, but I think to circumvent the production that's insufficient at this moment, we could either expand, but seeing that all the asteroid chunks also always fly towards the center where our space platform is anyway, this does not make too much sense. But what we can do is we can take this, we can copy it, we can say add new space platform and say Nauvis calcite harvester 2. Again with this and this icon, and then just double up on this design. And with that, we are at the end of today's episode and of this series. Next time, in the next series, we will head to Aquila for the last science pack, but then also out towards the shattered planet. We will see how far we actually got. Alright, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you pretty soon with the next series. Until then, goodbye!